is the 8th of May, 2025, and we are here at the All Saints Cathedral celebrating the life of one Edward Francis Kwach. I had the privilege of working with Kwach when I was at Hot 96, and we did the breakfast show together. And one thing I can tell you, Dorothy, is that Edward Kwach had a personality that was unmatched.
You can't even say.
He had a laughter that would fill up
and a
room, and his voice. And working with him together with Chris Okinda, I got to learn so much about radio. And through him, I got to enjoy radio. And those were some of my best radio days, working with Edward Kwach at Hot 96. So today I see you here from Moche's Models, Dorothy Oliech. So I'd just like you to tell us, how did you know Kwach? How did you meet? What kind of person was he to you?
Me and Kwach, how do I say? Kwach is a brother, I'll say that.
Okay.
How I met Kwach when I just joined the industry.
Okay.
And Kwach, the way Kwach used to call me, I don't know even how to say it.
Yes.
Gidului wachoni pakro. Kwach bro paka, mapaka.
Hey.
Nyatima jaber beautiful girl, and everywhere we were, even second girls at the bar, the first thing before anything. Do you know this one?
Yeah.
This is ours, huh?
True.
Yeah, I got to and also the same time with Gracie, they're all together.
Oh yes, oh yes.
And I don't know what to say about Kwach, how to celebrate with my brother, because we're gonna miss you so much in the industry.
So much.
And like the courage and everything. I remember a time whereby I started the agency. I wanted to walk away, and it was like, you know what, my darling, you know what? There's a stage whereby you want to give up, and there's a stage. Don't give up. Moche is gonna be big. And apart from
look
that,
at it now.
And apart from crying from my brother, my brother used to cry and I used to laugh. Come on, let's agree. You're not going to cry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, he did.
I'm going to cry.
We love to cry. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's just like,
yeah.
But bro, I celebrate you, man.
Yeah.
I celebrate you.
Thank you so much, Dorothy, for such beautiful words. I love it that Kwach expressed himself.
Yeah.
When he wanted to cry, he'd cry. When he was not happy with you,
he will tell you.
He'd openly say it, you know. We had those moments working together, but his professionalism always stayed put. Yeah. Even when you guys were not agreeing in studio, his professionalism always stayed put. He was very professional.
He'll tell you and
about what he did.
He'll tell you and the truth, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And I think we learn from it, because even me, I think I'm straightforward, like what I'll tell you.
Yes.
And some people take it personal, but it's the truth. Deal with it. Yeah. But Kwach, we're gonna miss you
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dorothy, for opening up. You've been my icebreaker. Nimekuona nikasema tu, hey, hallelujah. So thank you so much, my dear friend. Aheri.
I love you too,
deeply.
And thank you for the lessons in protocol. The loss of a sibling, the loss of a brother can be quite painful, and we now want to share in the tributes of the Kwach brothers. And we will start with Otto and Edgar, and then move on.
I was with Edward on the day he passed away. I went to see him over lunch, as I've been doing over the past month. We laughed because he had had a really serious physiotherapy session. And I told him goodbye. I'll see him in the evening after work. I got a call from the hospital that he was having difficulty breathing, and I rushed there. I regret going into his room. When they were trying to resuscitate him. but I'll miss him. He was a good big brother to me. He was never ashamed to show me that he loves me. He's the only man I've ever let kiss me. Whenever he used to see me, he used to kiss me on my cheek. And he never called me Edgar. He always called me Sebo. And no one knew my name was Edgar. They knew me as Sebo because that's who Edward said my name was. I want to say goodbye in the words that Edward is known for. Kerry, you left us on Monday. When the news got out, the response was the same. Say it isn't so. When we started planning your final journey, the clarion call was, are we together? And indeed, we were together and still are. My guy, am I ready to let you go? No, I'm not. But your humor and never say never attitude will stay with me forever. So Jakababa, understand that you had to make like Tom and Cruise. But this isn't a goodbye. It's a see you later. So tell her, say hello to Victoria, Eric, and Boro. Until we meet again, sharp, sharp.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's funny how those who knew Kerry Francis, he always used to cry. So you can imagine now, as he lays here in front of us, we're shedding tears in front of him. My brother, my best friend, my fan. Have you ever had a brother who was your friend? It doesn't matter the age gap, the age difference. He saw me as a man. So even when I was 11 or 12 or 13, the conversations we had with this guy, see me, come talk to me, be a man. My guy, I am going to miss your voice. This is the hardest day of my life. I woke up heavy. My heart was heavy. I don't know what I'll do without you. God has a plan. It is what it is. But Mr. Francis, CF, there are two things you've told me, and it was our daily bread. Live, love, and laugh. And the laugh at yourself. Everyone else will laugh at you. It's fine. That's okay. But at the end of the day, if you can look in the mirror and you can't laugh, then you're not living. There's a problem. Right? That was number one. Number two, this life that has been given to us is not a rehearsal. It doesn't come twice. So be good, be nice. And usually in his case, this guy was too kind. He had a heart of gold. It's the type of guy who would go out for dinner, drinks or something. He'll pay the bill, but he can't get home. And he'll just tell you, Chief, I'll manage. And he'll get home. Kerry Francis, I will mourn you until I join you. I love you, truly, madly, deeply. And I go with what you told me on the Sunday afternoon when we were discussing in the hospital. Our agreement was when you come out on Tuesday, we'll go home, you'll do this, you'll do that, you'll be relaxing. Home care, watch the soccer on the Wednesday, do all these things. Our agreement that me and you were supposed to go buy a dog, a bulldog. I don't know what to say, but as I stand here and look at you, it shall be well. Sharp, sharp.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll now call Dudu and Shaka.
Good afternoon, everyone. I was having a conversation with my two sons, and you will see it in the tributes. And one of the things they said about one of the things, I'll tell you the second later, is that their Uncle Kerry, so we called him Uncle Kerry, he had a way of making people smile, or certainly them. And I know if you walked in here, I say walked in because if he rose, we'll all be freaked out. He would say something that would make us laugh. Now, Edward was my follower, so that means he came after me. Okay, so Richard, myself, Edward, Edgar, and that was steps. So that was 2 years apart, and then Otto came 7 years after Edgar. So at some point, as we were growing up, we were 4. And this was the days when we didn't have PlayStations, videos. TV, I think, was from 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So with 4 and a garden, you can play a couple of games, right? 2v2, football. It wasn't rugby, but football and other things. And very quickly, we realized that Edward was different. Yes, he would play sport, but he'd also read a lot, which is very different from us. And I think that's where his charm, his wit, and his voice started or flourished from. When I was certainly around 12, 13, Edward kicked off my very short stint on TV. I haven't found myself, but I know I was paid for a role in the movie White Mischief. I've watched it many times, but I can't see myself. I was a home guard and askari in shorts and long socks. And there were very many. Was it out of Africa? There you go. But I was paid well. So I had a good stint in acting. I even did a Coca-Cola ad. So that's for the West African market. Another ad which I haven't seen. But I left that. Edward, through acting, through reading, very early went into act. He joined Phoenix Players. And I think it's there where he now started to come out of the home fold, the fold of the house, and now started to become a public figure, while the rest of us were chasing sport. So that voice and him being different, I think, started. It was then that he decided to take up a role in radio. I didn't get it then. I certainly didn't. But that's what he loved to do, okay? I think for us, we were more, and maybe it's because of, how society was then. It was all about conforming and doing, I was aiming for a doctor, lawyer, architect, engineer. Edward he actually saw something different and he followed his path. And he started in radio. It's only only now that I now start to understand the impact of what he did. When he passed last Monday, and we started to see how much love he had. I remember, so Owen is 12. So Owen asked me, "You mean Uncle Kerry was this famous?" I said, "Yeah, well, you know, you and I have just learnt this." So I want to thank, and this is a personal thank you to Caroline Mutoko, because as you all know, Kerry liked a Tipolotu. I'm sure many of you might have shared that with him. But I just want to thank Caroline Mutoko because she did a lot to make sure that he continued to do what he loved. And I think I can say this for him and just say a very big thank you to her. Following his passing, because he was ahead of us all and he did what he loved, he found his brilliance and he made it work. I will just read a small section because this is a commitment that I will make to him, for the radio community. So I'll just read the last part of my tribute, and this is my commitment to him. Kerry, you grew beyond anything even I imagined you would become. You raised the profile of radio in Kenya to incredible heights. Heights I hope others will aspire to, and that I hope will be properly rewarded, especially now as we enter a new era where the creative industry must not just survive, but thrive, even in the age of AI. Your legacy as the most famous voice in Kenya radio must not die with your passing. Go well, my brother. You are reunited with many who've gone before you. Watch over us until we meet again.
To the clergy, the congregation, friends and family, both close and extended, good afternoon. My name is Richard Kwach, Jr., and as you'll see in the tribute program, and we'd have heard around the streets or any other place, I'm nicknamed as Dudu. So when you begin imagining who Dudu is, it is me. I'm the firstborn of this family. I want to speak a bit more about Kerry in terms of his personality and his nature. Kerry had in this world the fortune and luck of having two sets of parents in one family. There was his mother and his father, and then there was also me, the surrogate parent. I did both the roles of my mom and my dad because they used to travel a lot. They were very busy, they led busy lives. So me being the eldest, I had the duty of looking after these three guys and Kerry. So Kerry was special because he was very energetic. And there are very many characteristics about him. I'm going to talk about Kerry because that was his home name. To you guys on the outside, he may have been known as Edward, but he was known as Kerry, whom my father named after Kerry Francis, who founded the Lance High School. Kerry was charismatic. He would walk into a room and he would light up that room. And he would leave the room and those occupants entertained and happier than when he found them when he entered. Kerry was articulate. He could express himself succinctly and clearly and make his views known, and he was well understood. And I realized this when a friend called me yesterday and told me that she has been listening to Spice FM, the road show that Kerry used to host every day. And people were calling in this past 2 weeks, and most of them were breaking down. They were crying. They were saying, we shall miss Edward's music. We shall miss Edward's word of advice. We shall miss Edward's jovial character. As you have heard, Kerry was also a reader, an avid reader. And so you should not be surprised that he was able to express himself even on radio very clearly. While the rest of us were playing in our teenage years, Kerry was reading a lot of books that my father had acquired in his library. And that's where he earned that distinct character of being able to be well-read and present himself. He was also extremely entertaining because, and I am sure many, and I keep hearing, he was emceeing, he was a master of ceremony for many of your functions, and ours as well. And that is a very special art. It is unique, it is innate. Lastly, Kerry displayed the exuberance of youth. And I stand corrected. Many of us would have to live 2 life cycles in order to keep up with Kerry's capacity to embrace life, to seize the day. He displayed the exuberance of youth. And I was actually a victim of that, because many a times when we were both young and as we grew older, we would go out to the party, to the discos. He loved his music, we loved our music. We grew up in a family where music was played every weekend. So we knew all these bands, Kool and the Gang, The Whispers, the Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie. And Kerry had the capacity to, if one of us was sung, he listened to it the first time and he memorized it word for word. But when we went to the club, as they call it these days, many a time I would run away from him because he would be able to party until dawn with so much vibrancy. But some of us did not have that capacity to last the whole night. But that was his nature. Let me talk about something about his popularity. When there was COVID, you all know that there was curfew. So there were limited time. Only certain designated people could operate beyond the curfew hours. And I was one of them because I'm a public servant and I'm a lawyer by profession. So it was only lawyers and medical practitioners who could go beyond curfew. So one day I finished work at my office at 10:30. I was trying to beat the 11 o'clock curfew. And I was 2 minutes away from home. I was on the James Gishuru Junction. And there were designated places where there were police checks. So, and policemen were, at that time, they were very happy. When they realized that people were operating beyond curfew, you could see the excitement in them because it was good fortune on their part. So I saw these excited policemen. They flagged me down very excitedly. They said, "Simama, simama, simama. Weka gari kando. Unatoka wapi?" So I told them, nimetoka kazini. Lete badge. So they started giving me a hard time. So they said, "No, but you have extended beyond. It's too much. Let a driver's license." So I gave them the driver's license. So upon seeing the driver's license, many a time they'd ask me, "Are you the son of Justice Kwach?" I said, "Yes." Then they'd reprimand me a bit, then they release me. But this time, when I showed them my driver's license, they told me, "Wewe ni ndugu ya Edward Kwach?" Sema, "Yes." Pita raka sana, pita raka sana. And he gave me a thumbs up. So I said, amefanya makosa. I said, huyo kijana kwa radio anatufurahishi. He makes us happy on the radio, but also there are many other times he's known in the social places. So Kerry made a name for himself, but mostly for the good. He loved his job with a passion. And if there's anything that I'm going to learn from Kerry, his popularity transcends time, because he's now gone. But the tremendous amount of outpouring of love, joy, pain, and suffering, if he was only alive to see, you would be very amazed. But the lesson that we must learn is that in life, we're born to die. There's only one outcome. There's no other outcome. There's no shortcut anybody here is going. We're all exiting, and as you'd say in the plays that you used to act in, we're all exiting left in one direction. And so, he showed that life is beautiful, but it can also be short. So we have limited time on this planet. And in the limited time that we have, be yourself, embrace yourself, but also build relationships so that when you exit, you leave footprints in the sands of time. Because time is a very precious currency. We may all know how much money we have in our bank accounts, but we do not know how much time we have in our lives. Kerry lived life with a big spade, and he was unapologetic. In summary, I'll just read a poem that speaks about him, and I think it is worth a mention. A voice once strong upon the air, with laughter, truth, and gentle care. Now silent, yet it echoes still, through hearts you have touched and always will. At Spice FM, your soul would shine with wit and warmth in every line. A friend, a guide, a joyful sound, now missed in every moment found. You told the stories, held the space, with grace, with courage, endless grace. A presenter with heart so wide, you walked with kindness as your guide. Though gone too soon, your light remains in every smile through joy and pain. Rest well, dear Kerry. Your work is done, but your legacy has just begun. So to mom and dad, Ole, a parent should never in this life experience the pain and suffering of burying their child. I also feel the same pain because I was also a surrogate parent of his, as well as an older brother. My pain is twice. Because I loved him so much, I overprotected him so much, but it is the Lord's will. To Kerry, we shall see you on the other side. Say hi to Mboru Kereni, Victoria Otieno, Dandavi, and all those who have gone before us. For that is all we shall be, mere mortals, until we meet again. I thank you.
Yes. Where do I even begin? It still feels like a bad dream. When I keep hoping I'll wake up from, this is without a doubt the toughest thing I've ever had to do in my life. As I mourn you, Kerry, I also celebrate you. You know, Zola is my granddaughter, and I always celebrated our birthday together on the 27th of March. This year was no different. We talked for a long time. We laughed, as we always do, but little did I know that within 1 month, you are not going to be here with us. Son, you never called me mommy. You called me the queen. or Jaber. We had that special bond, you and I. We had the bond because Kerry was born on my birthday, 1973. That was a special birthday from God. I remember the day I was to deliver you at the Nairobi hospital. I actually drove myself there. The nurses couldn't believe I was in labor. I was still holding my keys and my handbag. When they asked me, are you really in labor? And I said, yes, I am. They rushed me in. The funny thing is, this was on my birthday. Your dad was abroad on a trip at the time. Kerry, you aren't just my son. You are my best friend. You never answered me back. No matter what I say to you, you would sometimes make fun of me and tell me, Mommy, don't shout at me because you'll make me spoil my voice, and you know my voice is money. You'd always end up with a smile and call me Jaber. Who would have known that you would leave us so sudden, so fast? Now that you are no longer here, every day goes on, but nothing is the same. There's an emptiness inside me that I can't put into words. I try to cope, but I cannot hide my tears. Kerry, words truly fail me. I'm overwhelmed with sorrow, knowing that I will never hear your voice on the radio again. But even through the pain, I find solace because you are so loved by so many people. Your life was a shining example of love of purpose, of kindness. From the moment you came into this world, you brought joy, you brought light, you are gentle, you are kind-hearted. A lot of people, Kerry would always be laughing. You shout at him, he'll never answer. Until the boys thought that I favored him. But I didn't favor him, he was just special to me. I called him a duet. As I fondly called you, your legacy will live on in our hearts forever. Rest in eternal peace, my dearest son, until we meet again. You are and always will be a blessing to everyone who loved you. I'm so proud to be your mother. The world has lost a vibrant spirit, but the universe has gained a star. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justice Richard Otieno Kwach. So happy to see such a massive mass of people. I think any politician or aspiring politician would love to have such a crowd. As a family, we are very, very grateful to all of you. say that anyone can recognize an elephant in the middle of the day, but if you ask them to describe, not to be able to do so. I've listened and to the tributes for Kerry, and I'm impressed. So, coming right at the end of the tributes, what I've listened to was completely exhausted any of one could say about Kerry. So, I'm not about to break any new ground because there is none. It is all there, and I'm amazed that Kerry had such a massive following. As a family, we loved him. He had a following. If he was anything other than a God-fearing person, you would compare him with a cult leader. The way for Kerry led his life, he had a dream, chased the dream, followed it. And I think, in a sense, he succeeded in achieving his mission. Been looking at the pictures, and I get the impression that he's just taking a bit of a rest. The last time, the Sunday before Kerry passed on, I went to see him, and we had a wonderful chat. But as I was leaving, I had the clear impression that his days are numbered. Although he's young, he has died young, he has achieved a lot. Was part of the engine of the family, and very creative. I didn't know that I had a nickname for myself, but listening, talking to Otto, told me that, we had to create a nickname for you in case we wanted to say something, discuss something which we didn't want you to take. So I was told that I was a Don. Then they say Don Vito. And those of you who have read The Godfather, became very clear. So, only Edgar would, when he was having, wanted to have fun, just say, "Oh, Don Vito, how are you?" I was cool with it. So children are very, very, they have got a way of communicating. They can be backbiting you and you wouldn't know you are the subject. My role here today is to thank you for rallying around us. Death is very terrifying. You know, when you hear that a neighbor is bereaved, you don't realize the impact. But the day it enters your gate, it's like meeting a very dangerous animal. Of course, it's a journey you undertake. There is no notice that is coming. The angel of suffering knocks at your door. Then, as you respond, you say, "There is no seat left for you here." But he's not going to go away. He will tell you not to worry, because he has come with his own stool. So you have no chance. But as a family, we are very proud that we produced Edward Carey. And that is an achievement. I'm sure that as he goes, continue to make those who are lucky enough to be up there good company. So, I want you all to accept how Nini we are. We are all Nini at the individual level. I have to acknowledge and thank and I want to give full acknowledgement to Carey's companion, a young lady called Vicky, fellow traveler. Not always that you find people like that who will go an extra mile to put a smile on your face. But Vicky gave Carey the support he needed, and as a family, remain forever grateful for that contribution. So, all of you, the dawn is happy. And you know, if you have read The Godfather, a gathering like this, a funeral, the turnout was huge. And that made everybody happy. So we know Kerry will come back, because that is what the good book says. And we'll continue to keep an empty chair around our dining table. We'll return. We are not going to reduce the number of chairs around the table. Those few words, if they are few indeed, I want to thank you again for making us navigate this difficult journey. All know that it is not possible to change the course of a river with a spoon. Thank you all.
I want to request the following to please come up so that we can speed the process. On behalf of Friends, Teddy Muthusi, please make your way to the altar. On behalf of the media industry, my friend Big Ted, no, I must be respectful, Ambassador Balozi, His Excellency Ted Kwach, Karibu, and a colleague from Standard Group, whose name I do not have, but please do come. We'll start with you, Teddy.
Good afternoon, everyone. God is good, and all the time. Today, I have the privilege of speaking on behalf of Friends for a man who gave each of us the greatest privilege, the gift of his friendship. But what is friendship really? It's something Edward not only understood, he embodied it. You can see it in the overwhelming outpouring of love since his passing. But more than that, you can see it in who those tributes come from. From the man who sold him DVDs back in the day, to colleagues in the media, to complete strangers who all had the same story. Edward made time for me. He could have chosen the path of ego, of celebrity, but that was never Edward. He was grounded, generous, and unfailingly present. I had the rare privilege of knowing Edward in many chapters of his life, from the corridors of St. Mary's, where he was a year ahead of me, to the stages of Phoenix Players, to the hallways of media houses, creative studios, and client boardrooms. We worked on countless projects together, and I watched him give his time, his voice, and his talent, and his platform to others. As friends, some who are still here and some who've passed on, we had a circle. It even had a name that he created. It was called the Flip Mod Squad. And although we wanted to spend almost every 3 minutes together, we knew that he had other circles of friends, ones that introduced to us, and it made even more bonds. Edward also opened doors for people, not because it was expected, but because he believed in them even when they didn't believe in themselves. He saw light in others and lit it up. But we also know the other side of Edward, the one who lived loudly, laughed deeply, and danced long into the night. But that wasn't just partying, as some would think. That was Edward doing what he did best, connecting people, turning strangers into friends, and then friends into family. Now, was Edward a perfect friend? Well, if you rubbed him the wrong way, you'd definitely get the best of his temper. But here's the beautiful thing. Once the dust settled, those friendships often grew stronger, because that's what vulnerability looks like. Showing up fully, giving all of yourself, even the messy bits. And Edward gave all of himself every time. And then there was Edward, the accidental clown. A few days ago, we were reminded by Big Ted that Edward, upon spotting one of his boys walking with a lady, would instantly fabricate a cheeky, harmless lie. And he's like, hey, this guy talks about you all the time, only to realize mid-sentence that the lady in your friend's company was either a cousin or a sister. or if he spotted you from afar with now your significant other, he'd break into a dramatic lakeside rendition of the LL Cool J song, "Who Would You Love? Are You For Sure?" And even in hospital, Edward's sense of humor never left him. I'm told by an extremely reliable source, who Don Vito just talked about, that when he didn't have the energy to entertain visitors, especially those he wasn't quite in the mood to see, he would dramatically pretend to snore. And then the moment they walked out, he'd open one eye and say, "They're gone." Now, that is classic Edward. So, what are we already missing? We miss the laughter that echoed from his soul. We miss the command of the English language that left us in awe. We miss the unmistakable voice from radio to stage to the unforgettable ads. But we also celebrate. We celebrate the catchphrases. I asked guys today on a certain group to say the phrases, and they poured in so much that this guy was about to start his own language, Edwanese. It's like quick plus fast minus slow. Are we together? Say it and so. Sharp, sharp, bro. My guy, are we together? Make like Tom and Cruise for Kojembe. You're behaving like a handbag. Be swift. Tuongee kiwase. Foot sick. What are you talking? Jam kwa Mwarabu. Jam kama Mwarabu. Jaka baba. You didn't hear what I'm saying? BC, which meant before COVID. Kaka brother. And so on and so forth, and Ola. There were so many things that he used to create his own phrases. We celebrate the endless stories, the jokes, the wisdom. We celebrate the countless times he pulled us aside, looked us in the eye, and helped us realign our paths. But what did we learn also from Edward? To show up for people and for life. To get up again and again, no matter how hard life hits, to be unapologetically ourselves, because as Richard, his brother, said, there's only one of you, the rest are taken, and to love boldly, unconditionally, and without holding back. Sometimes we forget that none of us is here forever, but even in his pain, even in this goodbye, I know that everyone who called Edward friend can smile and say, God, I was lucky to know this guy. To his mom, dad, and brothers, and entire family, thank you. Thank you for raising such an extraordinary man and sharing him with us. And thank you to God. There's a gospel song by Yonita Bynum that says, "You're great, you do miracles so great, there's no one else like you." And that's the truth, because God did give us a great person. He gave us Edward, a great friend like no other. So goodbye, Edward, my friend, our friend. And thank you for living life so fully and for letting us be part of it till we meet again. Thank you.
Ted was my senior in school. He was a year ahead of me in a very, very good school in Nairobi. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and for the purposes of the church, in case you're wondering, I was actually here giving the same speech as a friend for the previous funeral. I also lost another best friend. So this is the second one. But for me, it's a special day because it gets me to reflect on various things. And I'm going to take us through them shortly. Number one, I attended a funeral of a guy who was a thief. And when the pastor said, watu wote ambao walikuwa wanafanya kazi na yeye wasimame, nobody stood up. So please, those of us who ever worked with Edward in the entertainment industry or in the radio industry, please stand up. I'm sure you can stand up for this one. If you ever worked with him in radio or TV or in the entertainment industry, this is our salute. And to the Kwach family, we thank you for lending us your son for all these years. Everybody here, I want to assure you, has a unique and different experience of who this guy is. Everybody. I was loved too. By the way, this guy kissed me a lot. At the beginning, I was a bit, but I got used to it. And he told me, I love you so many times. Please be seated, the industry. So I don't know why I was actually chosen to thank or to speak about Edward. I'm not sure if it's my good looks or it's my good command of the English language, but I intend to make it 1 minute. But his life needs to be spoken about all through. Edward called me, he called me a couple of months ago, I think last year, and he told me, Ted, I have this thing. Now, I have seen him all through because I worked with him at Kids FM. And he told me, Ted, I think we are at the age where we need to make impact in our generation. What was he talking about? And that people in my age set, who is around his age group, are going through a very, very serious time. And many of us are finding it hard to reinvent ourselves. And mental health is dealing with us accordingly because we no longer hold the stature that we held. And he came up with an idea together with Urban Radio to start something called the Men's Baraza. It was a movement of men to talk, encourage each other, strengthen each other, stand with each other. We did our first session in Kisumu. 300 men showed up. The youngest 16, the oldest 68. And he told me that day, Ted, please, just be raw. And guys, we spoke, and men were freed from the fears, and as my dedication to him, and I speak for Urban Radio, we shall do it again and again and again. We shall stand with the men in this country. We shall walk with the men in this country. To the men in this house, you shall not walk alone. I finish. Psalms 19 speaks about a very important thing. It says, God, teach me to number my days, so that I may be full of wisdom. At the end of his life, I can assure you, and it will be said here, is that this brother of ours taught and walked with God. So may God be good to us. Remember, if you run alone, it's a race, but if you run with God, it is grace. And so may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Ghost be with all of us now. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the other side, bro.
Come and quickly give a short tribute for their work together at East Africa Radio.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, church. Everything happens for a reason. This morning, I met Richard Kwach for the very first time, and I had heard of him from Edward Kwach on a number of occasions. I didn't know that this Kwach family, even by merely greeting them, they can steal your speech. So he went away with my speech. Whatever Richard said here is what I wanted to say about Edward Kwach. I wanted to talk about leaving footprints on the sands of time. Kwach is a legend. Kwach has left a legacy. I'm a living testament to that. I met Edward Kwach in the year 2003, 24th of December. I was pursuing my first degree, LLB, at the University of Dar es Salaam. I'm Ugandan, by the way. So I meet Kwach, and he changes my course. This guy invites me to work with him on radio. He hadn't even told me about his story of not completing his degree in South Africa by then. So I joined radio, where I meet Baby Kabai and Kwach. And these were big names. Kwach had been poached from Nairobi to come and work in Dar es Salaam. Very few presenters have had the opportunity of being bought to move across borders. There are very few. I know only of Kwach. If there is any other, labda Kisumu tutakutana huku. So, then Kwach tells me that, hey bro, your degree is your job. Your job at East Africa Radio is your responsibility. Do you understand? I'm like, yeah, I think I do. So what did I say? You said my degree is my job and my job is my responsibility. Do you know what that means? I said, yes. What does it mean? I should take my degree serious. No! You have to get your degree. So you will work and you will get your degree. And surely I got my degree, but I continued working on radio. I continued working with Kwach. Then Kwach changed all of a sudden. He was so hard on me, very hard indeed. And I asked him, what's wrong, brother? Have I hurt you in any way? He told me, Dennis, I'm pushing you because I want to go back to Nairobi. I want to live here in Dar es Salaam. I want you to rock in Dar es Salaam, I rock in Nairobi. And he left. But we had become a family with baby Kabai here and Edward Kwach. I remember him for being courageous, for being a good man. If Kwach ever insulted you, it's because he wanted to cut off your head, but because he was a good man, it ended at an insult. If he ever beat you up, he wanted to bury you alive. But because he was a good man, he only slapped you. Rest in peace, Edward Kwach. Asanteni sana.
Next will be Edwin Kwambai from Standard Group. Okay, now I'm being corrected. It is Edward who baptized him Sebo, and it became part of his name. The next will be a colleague from Standard Group, the general manager for radio, Edwin Kwambai, who will read a speech from the CEO. Ningemwambia keep it short, but you know, they're broadcasting live and the CEO is watching. So now
I'm standing here with a lot of humility to eulogize a man that I grew when I was a young man to emulate. While we were in the media school, it was Kwach's voice that you would want, that one day you'll reach that level of professionalism and dedication to the profession that we wanted to be. Here today, I want to read some sentiments from the Chief Executive Editor, Mr. Chacha Mwita, who could not be present here today. And I'll go like this. We gather here today with heavy hearts, united in mourning, yet also in celebration of the exceptional life of Edward Kwach. It's a challenge to articulate the profound sense of loss we feel at Spice FM, at the Standard Group in general, and indeed across the entire of Kenyan media landscape and beyond. I stand before you today not solely on my behalf as the team lead radio department, but also on behalf of the CEE, which I've already introduced, who extends his deepest condolences and shares in our sorrow. For many years, Edward Kari Francis Kwach was a legendary presence on our airwaves. His influence transcended the confines of any single radio station. He graced the studios of East Africa Radio, Capital FM, Kiss FM, Nation FM, Urban Radio, and indeed our very own Spice FM, which together with his colleagues who are present here and who are back at HQ, managed to build the #1 fastest growing English radio station in the country as part of his contributions to our stable. Edward Kwach was not merely a presenter, he was a trailblazer. He possessed a rare talent, an infectious energy, and unwavering passion for radio that shaped the very landscape of broadcasting in Kenya and the region. He had an extraordinary ability to connect with listeners from all walks of life, making them feel seen, heard, and understood. His voice was a trusted companion to countless individuals, a source of comfort, entertainment, and insightful commentary. Though Edward Kwach's time with us has concluded, the impact he made will endure for generations to come. His voice may be silent, but his spirit will continue to resonate within the airwaves he commanded and in the hearts of all who knew and loved him. His legacy will serve as an inspiration to aspiring broadcasters for years to come. We extend our deepest sympathies to Edward Kwach's family and loved ones during this incredibly challenging time. May you find solace in the memories you shared and in the love that surrounds you. Today we mourn but we also celebrate a life lived with passion, purpose, and profound impact. A life that touched so many and a life that will never be forgotten. Rest in peace, Edward Kwach. Your voice will be deeply missed, but your legacy will endure eternally. This message has been signed off by the Chief Executive Editor, the Standard Media Group PLC. Asanteni sana.
So we are going to have more people just talk about Kwach and, tell us what they remember about this guy who was amazing, who was exciting, entertaining. He was the fun of the party. So, yeah, keep it locked. First of all, mimi nimefurahi. Najua tuko kwa funeral service lakini nimefurahi kukutana na wewe. Na nimekujua miaka mingi sana, but we've never met.
No, today is the
So this is the
How
first.
is this the,
I don't even understand.
but I can't. But I'm so happy and so happy for you and
It's
what you've
nice
done
to meet you too.
and your career growth
Yeah.
and what you've given Kenya.
Thank
Asante.
you. Asante sana. Hata mimi nakushukuru.
Thank
woman
you.
to woman.
Na pia huyu vile na.
Huyu nimemzoea. Huyu ni rafiki yangu wa kila siku.
We did believe it or not, we did mad football reels with this girl.
We did, yeah.
And no, she's not a fan, but she's
the only football
fun.
I've done with Rado
Yeah.
twice was when we went to the German school, and then the next one was with the football tables.
Yeah.
So you guys were playing.
Yeah, we
Yes, that
actually
was you.
played football.
Really?
Hey.
Carol is just a tyrant there. So well done.
Yeah, thank you. So just a few questions. We are here at the memorial service of Edward Kwach. And of course, there are so many personalities here because of what he did. I just want to know, how did you meet Edward? What kind of person, colleague or friend was he to you?
I think together with Radul, we used to act in plays at Phoenix Players Theatre. There was this wonderful, amazing tyrant called James Falkland.
Oh yes, I remember.
And I think if anybody was in a play at Phoenix, then you met Kwach.
Definitely.
And then from there we worked together at Kiss 100.
Okay.
And then at Easy FM / Nation FM
Yeah.
/ Easy /
slash many things now.
Yes, but
yeah.
Kwach was just, let me tell you, rules didn't apply to him. There were suggestions. Then he would see if it fits with him on any given day. And of course, the consequences of those suggestions sometimes would be epic, but then you'd forgive him.
Yeah, true.
But he would see what's not being spoken in what's being spoken. He could tell when you're having a bad day, and he would cheer you up like this. So I still don't believe this has happened. So forgive me if I'm not very eloquent
that is
right
fine.
now.
That is fine, and that is good enough. Yeah. So what is that one thing that his character, what will you remember? What will stay with you, even as he has left us now? What is that one thing that will always stay with you?
Rise above things. There's things on the outside that are going to happen irregardless. But it should never take away your joy. It should never take away who you are. It should never take away your personality. You rise above it and you smoke a little something and you say, ha, 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 hoo.
Yeah.
Just, he's the embodiment of live out loud. I used to say, and I used to think living out loud means something, but now it means something very different for me going forward.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh God, how do you even sum up Edwards?
You cannot sum him up.
Kwach.
Yeah.
Kwach was a force, man.
Yeah, true.
I was his supervisor. I say supervisor because I think Sheila said he made his own rules. And I was his boss in quotes, but nobody bosses Edward. Kwach was just his own man. But what I remember about him is how genuine he was. He was real. If you ask me to sum him up in one word, real. What you saw was what you got. But I'd also say he was perfectly imperfect. You see, we tried to be perfect, but we're far from it. He didn't try to be perfect. He was just Kwach every single day. Got into trouble a lot, got me into trouble a lot. There's a reason we kept hiring him, because his talent knew no bounds. And when he was dedicated, he was 150% dedicated. And I mean, you would forgive him. He was so charming.
Yeah,
Hey, Sheila. He does something to you, and tomorrow he will charm you and get back to work and do a fantastic job.
True that.
And that's what I will remember Kwach for. Just being genuine, real, and he cared about people. He cared about making people feel good around him. We laughed a lot.
And loud.
When I was doing his tribute for Friends, I remember telling them that the last time I saw him was at the Magical Kenya Open.
Oh yeah.
First we laughed for 20 minutes before we were like, oh, so how are you? You know, and you can't even say what you laughed about.
Yeah.
And then they asked me, so would you have done anything different? I said no, because we laughed. I probably would have hugged him if I knew it was the last time I was going to see him. When I heard he was ill, I remember we did the blood appeal immediately, and Otto kept telling me, you know, he's getting better, he's out of ICU. And I was like, Kwach will be back louder than ever. So it was a bit of a blow. No, it was a big blow, not a bit. It was a huge blow because, you can't sum him up. He was larger than life.
He is, yeah.
You know, and I tell people, I remember when Maina Kageni posted, and I said, Maina, I remember what you used to tell me. Maina used to tell me, Edward Kwach is hands down the most entertaining presenter on radio in Kenya.
100%.
And that coming from Maina is a lot.
Yeah.
And nobody would dispute that. His talent was effortless.
True.
Effortless. If there's someone who can wing it and still sound intelligent and witty,
that was
humorous,
him.
that was it.
Yeah.
I thought I had nothing to say and I can't stop talking.
You can't stop talking. I know.
Oh God, I'm gonna miss him.
Of him, yeah.
I'm gonna miss him. And then Otto's my friend. Edgar's my friend. Oh God, Edgar I broke down when Edgar was
when he was giving his eulogy. Yeah, pretty sad. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate this.
Well, this has been a therapy session.
Yeah,
it has.
And it will keep coming out and coming out.
Yeah, it will. I think the more you talk about it and you remember the beautiful good times that you've had, then it somehow, God gives you a back that can carry the load. He doesn't make the load easier, but he just gives you a stronger back. A stronger back, yeah. Thank you so much. Love you, ladies. Thank you so much.
Sana, all the very best.
I want us to meet Nini in good time. Outside of, So I'm here with this guy. I haven't seen him in a very long time. The fashionista himself. Uko aje fundi Frank?
Niko salama, my dear.
Siku nyingi sana.
Sana.
Bado unashona nguo?
Bado unashona, but tunajua sasa lazima tuna upgrade kidogo. Tunaingia mtandao sasa.
Unaingia mtandao.
Tunafuatana na Gen Z.
Mbona zile nguo ushonea Ainea sana?
Ainea. Ma politician wakati wa election.
Yes.
Nashoneaga sana ma politician. Tulianza na Pentagon.
Okay.
Wakati wakiwa Ruto, Raila, Mudavadi, Kalonzo.
Yes.
Na nani mwingine alikuwa Ruto ndiye alikuja kwa ofisi yangu. Nilikuwa na ofisi Baricho Road. So akakuja na kanipa size zao, wengine wote na yeye ndiye akalipa zile nguo ambazo walivaa kwa launch ya Pentagon. Hapo ndo nilivalisha wanasiasa wengi.
Okay.
Yeah, so kila siasa ikitokea wananitafuta tena wanasiasa.
So unangojaga sana election hiyo, unasema 2027 nitafika lini?
Mimi ni kama
nitengeneze do.
Mimi ni kama mtu wa kutengeneza jeneza.
Kabisa.
Akisikia watu wamekufa ndio biashara.
Ndio biashara. So Fundi Frank, ningependa tu kujua ulijuana aje na Kwach? Mulifanya kazi pamoja, mulikuwa marafiki, did you grow together? What was your relationship? Na ulimjua kama mtu wa aina gani?
Edward Kwach ni kazini yangu. Edward Kwach baba yake na mama yangu ni ndugu na dada.
Okay.
So actually mama yangu ni mkubwa wa baba yake. So ni kazini yangu kabisa.
Okay.
So tumejuana tukiwa wadogo, tukienda nyumbani kucheza huko Ugenya.
Ndio.
So hata kwenda kumzika naenda nyumbani.
Unaenda nyumbani Simenya.
Babangu anatoka Kano.
Okay.
Lakini mama yangu anatoka Ugenya Simenya. Kwa kina Edward Kwach.
Mimi baba yangu anatoka Ugenya na mama yangu anatoka Kano.
So ni opposite.
Ni opposite.
Ugenya ya wapi? Ambira. Oh, Ambira. Ambira basi uko karibu na hawa
kazini zangu
kina Angira. Kuna Angira wako hapa ni watu wa Ambira. Hata Maikraba pia ako hapa ni ako Simbali na hapo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ni nini hiyo unakumbuka kuhusu Kwach, like wakati mlikuwa mnakutana ama mkiwa mmeenda nyumbani labda kwa functions za familia? What was that one thing about him that you really loved and admired?
Edward Kwach alikuwa rafiki yangu sana.
Okay.
So Kwach, one thing I admired about Kwach ni kwamba Kwach alikuwa mtu wa watu.
Sana.
Unajua Kwach, kitu ambacho watu wengi hawajui, Kwach ni mtu ambaye ametoka kwa familia ya kitajiri. Sana.
Mimi nimeona hapo alisomea Banda School and it was in those days.
Alisoma Banda School. Ndugu zake wakubwa wamesoma Turi.
Mungu.
Hao ni hiyo ni group ya alafu baba yake of course Justice Kwach.
Kweli.
Best friend ya Justice Kwach ni Charles Njonjo.
Yes.
So hiyo walizoea hiyo, but sasa Kwach, the funny thing, Kwach alikuwa hang out na hiyo. Alisoma Banda alafu akaenda St Mary's. But alikuwa na marafiki huko, but watu wa kawaida sasa ndio walikuwa marafiki wa Kwach. Na alikuwa anapenda ku hang out mahali pa kawaida, enzi hizo Choices wapi, because alikuwa anapenda kukaa na watu sana. Kweli. Tofauti hata na ndugu zake. Ndugu zake siku hizi ndio wana mingle na watu sana lakini Edward tangu zamani yeye alikuwa yani unaona hata umesikia vile story yake inasemekana alipelekwa South Africa kusoma. Alikuwa baba yao alikuwa very very strict.
Okay.
So watoto wake alikuwa anaweka wakuwa strict.
Anaweka kwa line.
Kwa line, wa kwanza akakuwa lawyer kama yeye, wa pili Shaka Kwach akakuwa engineer.
Okay.
Pia alikuwa anacheza rugby Kenya team. Wote Edgar pia akapelekwa UK, Otto pia akapelekwa ng'ambo kusoma hivyo.
Okay.
So Edward alipelekwa kusoma law South Africa. Kama kanuni ya baba yake, alikuwa anaona huyu kijana atapotea. Akampeleka South Africa. Sasa Edward alisoma I think almost paka third year, akaona hii kazi yangu.
Hii toboi.
Akahepa akakuja. Hizo siku nilikuwa naishi Mombasa. So alikuwa anahepa anakuja hata kwetu, we hang out.
Okay.
Alikuwa anatuambia sijawahi kusahau tangu hizo siku. Akanambia me I'm the black sheep of the family. Alianzaga kusema hivyo, mimi ndio niko tofauti. Na roho yake ilimpeleka hivyo kwa radio na TV. Hizo ndio vitu alikuwa anapenda. So alikuwa amesoma, ametoka kwa familia ya kitajiri, lakini huwezi kujua. Manake alikuwa na hang out tu na kila mtu. Yeah.
Nafikiri ukisema hivyo, kitu ambacho babake amesema pale kanisani, ya kwamba ameona watu wengi mpaka yani kumbe mtoto wangu alipendwa hivi.
Kabisa.
Na akatuambia thank you, asanteni kwa kupenda mtoto wangu. Vile mlimpenda. All the love, the outpouring love that they received since Kwach's passing has been even overwhelming for the family.
Kabisa.
Because Kwach alikuwa kuanzia soja kwa gate. Anakuja kisalimia kila mtu.
Hata kazini alikuwa hivyo.
Yes, true that.
Kuanzia soldier, kuanzia tajiri wa kazi mpaka soldier, kila mtu, watu wa taxi, kila mtu alikuwa rafiki ya Kwach. Kila mtu alikuwa na. Umesikia hata ndugu yake akisema kuna wakati ameshikwa. Si baba yake alimwokoa. Watu ambao polisi wakishika watu wakati wa COVID walimjua juu waliona
juu ya
Kwach. Edward ndio anamjua, mjui baba yake. Because baba yake sasa ni generation nyingine. Watu ambao wali grow up wakiona kesi ya Kwach na Wambui Otieno ndio anaweza kukumbuka kwamba huyu ndio one of the biggest judges ambaye alikuwa kuwe hata attorney general, lakini siasa zetu zikafanya asikuwe. But baba yake alikuwa mtu mkali sana kama wazee wa zamani. Sasa ndio maana nakwambia Edward was special, because Edward yeye alikuwa akiamua ni hivi. But you see, sasa baadaye alizoea because aliona kumbe ni kawaida. Actually Edward, kuna wakati baba yake alienda Capital, akianza kufanya kazi Capital. Alienda akawaambia wasimuandike kazi, ataki. Aliwaambia sitaki mtoto
wangu kwa radio.
Na ni hivyo ndio maisha ya sasa, because yale maisha yamekuja kwa kawaida. Ukiangalia hata presenters wengine wote unakuta ni lawyer, ni doctor, ni nini, ama umesomea kitu kingine alafu unakuwa umependa
radio.
Kama unapenda acting, unapenda ku-act.
But you have kuna hii nyingine ambayo ulisomea.
Exactly, ambayo ni tofauti. So ilikuwa Edward naye alikuwaga hivyo. So baadaye hata ukiangalia story ya mtu kama Davido, yeye unikumbusha, nikisikiaga story ya Davido namkumbuka Edward Kwach, because Davido naye alikuwa kama babake Edward Kwach. Wakati Davido anaanza kuimba, baba yake alikuwa anaenda kwa mahali yuko anamtoa mbio, anavuruga, anaambia sitaki mtoto wangu aimbe. Ataki airport alifunga wapi,
asisafiri, anaenda show,
asiende show, asisafiri. Mtoto wangu nataka asome, because familia yao ni ya watu wamesoma. But you see sasa, since then Afrika ya sasa
ni tofauti na
ya zamani. Watu wanasoma, which is very good for education. So watoto someni sana, na mpate madegree, but follow your heart.
True that.
Follow your heart. Kama unapenda acting, act. Kama unapenda nini, fanya. Kama unapenda muziki, fanya.
Kama unataka kuwa fundi,
kuwa fundi. Kwanza mafundi wa sasa wanaunda do sana. Si ndio? Mbona kina Bolo Bespoke vile wanachocha huko.
Tunaona.
Hii ingekuwa harusi ya hiyo generation.
Hao ndio mimi ndio watu mngedress hao.
Ungeona watu wamedress hapa mpaka ma walking stick mani, but inakuja. Generations ina change. But it's good to see that tuna create sasa hizo watu ni kazi.
Tuna create hizo
fashion ni kazi. Unaona hata wewe vile umevaa nguo ambayo imeshonwa.
Ni kweli.
And I always say women have always been the first kwa kuona kwamba fashion ni muhimu. Hata public holidays I've always been complaining. Nasema ukiangalia by the way, angalia public holidays hata za zamani.
Yes.
Utaona wamama wote wamevaa vitenge na nini na nguo za kushoneshwa hapa Kenya.
Yani anashona nguo for that specific occasion.
Na kila mama ana fundi wake.
Kweli.
So hiyo inajenga uchumi yetu.
Kweli.
Wababa nao wote utakuta wamevaa Italian suit nini. Yetu tuna hapo watu sasa wanaunda masuti hapa. Why not? Tujenge uchumi yetu. Ndio naonaga Nigerians kina Obasanjo mpaka leo
wanavaa nguo zao.
Na akivaa watu wanaona. Siku ile mimi nilishonea kina Raila na Ruto hiyo time ya Pentagon.
Yes.
Nilipata kazi mpaka hata nikashindwa kufanya, because sasa hiyo ndio kila mtu alikuwa anaongelea. Watu wa TV, watu wa nani, huyu ndiye anashona nguo ya Pentagon, huyu ndiye ameshona. Kazi nilishindwa hata na kazi.
Kwa sababu it was too much
overwhelming. Paka unakuta sasa, yani nilishindwa, but nikalan kwamba hiyo ndio euphoria iko na politicians. Imagine sasa politician akisimama tu aseme huyu ndiye ananishonea. So hata saa hii naona president wetu siku hizi anavaa kaunda, which is good. But naomba yeye na leaders wengine wajue ya kwamba ili wa create ajira, let them make it purposeful, kwamba apeane hata challenge tu kwamba mimi nataka kuvaa nguo zimeshonwa Kenya mwaka huu. Fundi wa Mkenya kila wiki, fundi tofauti.
Napenda hiyo sana.
I'm telling you, hata 5 years atamaliza. Hata wa mama wote wakubwa, sema tu nataka kuvalishwa na mafundi wa Kenya, na then utangaze wiki hii ni kama competition fulani, nimevaa huyu,
nimevaa ya Yvonne, nimevaa ya Frank.
Yeah. Hivyo ndio watu wanajengana. Na watu wanaangaliaga sasa kunasikia hii huyu Will Broda na shonoana fulani atapigiwa masimu mpaka atashindwa.
Nataka kama hiyo.
No, because we ni role model. Imagine politicians, because politicians ndio role models wetu. Na watu wanawafuata na watu wanawaamini. So kama unaweza kumshonea politician au mtu maarufu, utakuwa umecreate biashara
kubwa sana.
Na si hata nguo, everything. Unakumbuka hata kuna jamaa alikutana na Uhuru akamwambia aone programu yake. Sijui
Pascal
Tokodi. Hiyo tu imagine.
Yes.
Ilimpa umaarufu wa kuamini.
Mkubwa sana.
Hiyo ndio siri wa Nigeria wamekuwa nayo tangu zamani. They consume their own. Ukiangalia wote saa hii, hata ukiangalia interview zao anda wapi, juzi utaona Burna Boy amekutana na Dangote, amekutana sijui na nani, mara wanaenda kwa president. Harusi zao saa hii ndio sisi tunaanza kuingia na hiyo mazobu na kukopi. Walishajua.
Walishafanya kitambo, na hiyo ni fashion yao.
Ni fashion na ni fashion. Tunaona hata Magoha vile alikufa, alioa Nigeria. People didn't understand. To them it's a celebration, and celebration means wale wanashona nguo for every occasion. Kama hii wedding inakuwa ni unaweza shona nguo kama hata 10. Funeral same thing. Na yani wale wamefika ile level wanaambianaga sasa as a family, leo tunavaa hii, tumependa hii nguo ya Will Broda. Hii ndio material. Hii material ipateni kwa duka fulani, hii ingine ama pale. Kila mtu ashone vile anataka, but mkitaka fundi wetu ni huyu. Hivyo.
So unaona uniformity fulani.
Na inajenga kila mtu. So that's what we need to embrace as Kenyans na tukiendelea, si ndio?
Asante sana.
Asante sana well brother.
Nimefurahi. Nitakuita sasa siku moja tutembee, tupige story, tukule, tucheke.
Story ni mingi.
Remember the old days.
Kabisa.
Asante sana.
Asante, hongera kwa podcast yako.
Asante.
Hongera kwa kazi yako.
Asante.
Salimia watu wote ambao unafanya kazi nao.
Nitawasalimu.
Tuko pamoja. Edward
pamoja.
Kwach alikuwa mtu wetu. Mungu alaze roho yake mahali pema peponi.
Amina.
Amen.
Msafiri salama. Mweze kumlaza vyema na Mungu awe nanyi.
Asante.
Asante sana. Haya. Thank you.
Awilo. Tuko pamoja.
Sawa. So I'm here with a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a long while, Sir Henry. Hi.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
How are you?
I'm great.
I don't remember you being this tall.
Well, you don't remember a lot of things these days.
I think it comes with age. How have you been?
I've been good.
It's good to see you.
I'm retired now, so...
You're retired now,
yes.
So you're taking it easy.
I'm taking
So
it
what are you doing? Farming or what?
No, when you retire and you chill.
And you chill?
Yeah.
If you made money, then you can chill.
No, I was working hard. There was no money. I stopped working. There was still no money, so it's the same.
So you live a day at a time.
Oh, yes.
You live and you let God.
Tunaomba serikali. Tunakuomba wewe kama serikali ututumie kitu pia.
Serikali imekusikia.
Asante.
So uko hapa kwa memorial service ya Edward Kwach. Ningependa tu kujua, how did you meet Kwach? What kind of person was he to you? What relationship did you have? And what is that one thing that you will remember about him?
I think I got to know him almost 20 years ago.
Okay.
Maybe when I was trying to set up a radio station in Kenya.
Okay.
And we had a chat. We didn't work together directly, but I can tell you I avoid interviews totally.
Thank you for this.
But he's the only person, along with Angela, he had a show in Nation, that I accepted to have an interview with, which is something to say.
Okay.
But the take home for me, after all these years, is I think I should make a point of reaching out to some of my friends. The circle becomes smaller and smaller, and you only meet you only meet in such events, which is sad. And maybe I should reach out more when people are alive and just spend time with them and spend a coffee or anything, because then sometimes you're just wishing people happy birthday, and then the next thing is a funeral. Na inbox imejaa tu na madem.
Ni kweli. But that is very deep, that a lot of times we don't reach out to each other. We all are in our little cocoons and we don't even know how the other person is doing. Then suddenly you hear something like this and you're like, oh my God,
I mean, I would say even you, I haven't seen you in such a long time. So maybe let's make a point. I'll start with you, and we should have a coffee and just figure out what have you been doing. And I'll tell you what I've been doing in my retirement, gardening and things like that.
And I could take I could have a few takeouts.
You could get a plant I could give you and say, this one, you plant it in the shade, it flowers or something.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that.
That's
pretty deep.
Thank you, Jackie. And nice seeing you again.
Nice to see you again. Are you traveling?
No, I will not be traveling.
Okay.
I'm taking care of my daughter.
All right.
Over this weekend.
Okay.
Yes.
Sawa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You said you don't do interviews much, so thank you for granting me this one.
Every time.
Asante. All right. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, mommy. How you doing?
I'm good. And you?
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
It's
I'm so sorry.
okay. Hata kwako
Radio,
pia.
guys.
Yeah.
You know, I've looked at him in the coffee.
Yeah.
And I think they did a good job. He looks like he's asleep.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
We are broken.
Yeah. I couldn't get myself to do it.
Hey, by the way, now I know how it feels to be close to a celebrity.
You are a bigger one. How have you been?
I'm on top of the world. And
that's amazing to know. I haven't.
So what are you doing here?
We're just talking to friends of Kwach, just finding out, how they met, how you met, what kind of relationship you had. And what is that takeout? What is that one thing that you will remember about him? Ukwaje lakini?
Mimi niko poa.
Maisha inakutake vipi manze? Hapa vile tuna struggle.
Do you know? You know what I've come to realize, eh?
Yeah.
Once you know your true north, just flow.
Really?
Yeah, don't burden yourself with when, how, why, etc. Just
and
be in the moment.
Questioning and not even being able to live because you're worrying too much about what's going to come.
Do you know
that you have no control of?
Exactly. When I came here and you said hi to me and you shook my hand, that's gone.
Yeah.
It has gone.
It has gone.
Yes. What is now here is this. Now microphone, you and me exchanging.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to celebrate.
Yeah. We look for big things out here when
Kerry was here yesterday. But the here, the now, he has gone. And we need to dignify him by letting him go. Because he's gone home. All right?
There was something very interesting that one of the, I think it was the preacher.
Yeah.
And he said, when someone dies, we ask why.
Yeah.
How come we don't ask why when someone is born?
Is born. And that and you know, I'll tell you this. The first emotion at birth when a child is born is what?
Joy.
No, the baby must cry for us to know the baby is alive. So that's the first emotion. And my interactions with Kerry Francis was such that Jakababa. Let's cry, but in the toilet.
Yeah.
Because we are the true African mind.
Yes.
The quintessential African guy. So he's a guy who lived his life. He lived in the moment. He was permanently outside the box, trying new things. And for me, that is the solid legacy that Kerry has left.
True that.
All right?
True that.
He lived his life, he enjoyed his life.
He never lived by the rules.
And he knew that rules were there to be bent, not to be broken. And I think this is one guy who we're going to remember for a long time. The voice, the charisma, the character, the element.
The laughter.
The laughter, you know, and above all, just the love. He loved. He loved in a special, but in kind of a rough way. You know, he would meet you and ask you, like he did to me, Jakababa, you're too lost, man. Kwani you are gold. You know what I mean? And those were the moments that I want to remember this guy with. We've lost, but heaven has gained. Yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tom.
No, my pleasure.
And I'm so happy to see you. I haven't seen you in the longest time.
Yeah, and thank you for making me look tall.
And you're well.
Yes, I'm well.
There's a woman,
you didn't get that one.
Is there a woman taking care of you? Is there a Mrs. Mboya somewhere?
The God is taking care of me.
Oh.
And you as well. And all of us. And the viewers.
He's doing a good job.
Yes, and and someone was asking me to do a story on aging backwards. Yeah, maybe I'll think about that.
You really are. You really are.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the Netwalking TV. We have been here at the All Saints Cathedral. We've had tributes, different tributes about Edward Kwach from people who loved him, people who worked with him. And one thing that is a takeout for me is what Bob Marley said once, and he said, love the life you live and live the life you love. And that's exactly how Edward Kerry Francis Kwach lived his life. Thank you very much. It's been me, Jackie Nyaminde. Have a lovely evening.